Welcome to the series of videos on presentation skills for Business 101 section leaders. This work in this series of videos you'll be seeing on presentation skills is based on the work of Kendall Zoller and Claudette Landry, the choreography of presenting, the 7 essential abilities of effective presenters. We hope that you'll enjoy it, and we hope that your skills will improve from watching the information here and practicing, 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 and practicing.
So much about what is accomplished in communication is conveyed through nonverbal patterns, and in this segment, we're going to take a look at the nonverbal patterns useful in how you would read the group. Henry David Thoreau said, "It's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see." And that's critical in thinking about how you read the group, because you take all of your data from the group to determine what it is that are the best strategies for you to use to keep the group moving forward and learning and productive. The environment hurls at us some 30 million bits of incoming data. They bombard our human nervous system every second, and we can't possibly process all 30 million bits, so it's a gifted presenter who knows how not to get mired into details when reading a group and instead to recognize the patterns and pattern disruptions. We organize our thinking in 3 phases. First, we'll discuss participant types and how to identify them and the ways to connect with each type. We'll talk about the choreography that initiates and maintains group formation with a positive group dynamic. And lastly, and most importantly, we'll show strategies to recognize and support group learning, processing, and development. We're going to begin by looking at ways we can identify participant types and ways to connect with each type of participant. There are many models that you can use as scaffolds when reading a group. The model we find most useful was first introduced by Silber, Strong, and Pettini in 2008, and it suggests 4 audience types. First is a scientist. They're kind of looking for patterns in data. Second, there's the professor. They're interested in the tell me more and everything behind it. Third, the inventors are asking, what can I create with this information? And fourth are the friends, those that want to spend more time together and are just having a good time being present. No single person's limited to a single identity. Everyone transitions from one identity to another, depending on many factors, including context and history. All 4 types will be present in your audience, so design your presentation to incorporate and balance cooperation, collaboration, academic references, data, and exploration. What's important is that we recognize the choreography that initiates and maintains group formation with a positive group dynamic. Recognizing when a group is out of sync, when group formation wanes, for instance, is really important. As an effective presenter, your goal is to bring synchronicity back by a unison of response. These are nonverbal strategies that can be used to reestablish group synchronicity. Let's say you have a PowerPoint slide showing, and the slide that's up has a page number. As you say to the group, turn to this page. You use a frozen hand gesture pointing to the actual number. And what'll happen is that by leaving information out, the brain picks up that pattern shift and the lack of information, and it often influences the group to look at the screen in order to gain access to that missing information. By getting a group to react at the same time, you help establish a positive group dynamic. A yellow light is a warning statement placed in the middle of a content paragraph that lets a group know that something's coming. An example might be, as we finish this deep dive into dialogue, we'll be taking a short mid-morning break. When this phrase is anchored in psychological needs, the group responds with a collective shift, a nod, or an acknowledgement, and it keeps that group formation positive. To increase the probability of having everyone in the group look at you in unison and reestablishing group formation again, pausing for 3 seconds with your mouth closed so you look intelligent is very helpful. By pausing at a specific moment in time, you again create a pattern shift, and the brain, which is hardwired to pay attention to those shifts and patterns, will look around to see what's up. We'll see you standing still, pausing, and will tend to pay attention. Often in learning environments, to accelerate learning and deepen understanding, presenters organize adults into small learning groups. To determine how much learning and group development is occurring, watch the group behaviors. Ask yourself, is the group within the baseline of the whole group? If so, then it's safe to assume that they're engaged with the content. Sometimes groups are off task, so to get them back on task, you could do the following. Slowly approach a small group's working while looking at their work and not at them. Oftentimes the group will sort of self-manage. Are students on task and learning? It's one of the big questions we have when people are in small groups. If students are leaning forward during an activity and sort of using a credible voice pattern and maintaining direct eye contact with each other, then they're probably on task and learning. You can assess that by asking some content-specific questions. You could ask them for a demonstration, maybe create a flip chart presentation, or you engage them in a number of other on-demand tasks. One of the keys of reading a group is to figure out how to know what to pay attention to. As an example, ocean waves come in sets if you've ever been at the beach. A surfer watches those sets roll toward shore. And as you look for that one wave that stands out, that's the wave that's off baseline. It's often the wave you want to catch. Well, groups have movements like waves too, and they're recognizable that way, sort of like ripples of energy. These are waves of interest, laughter, attention, boredom, and they often emanate from specific locations. By identifying the person who is the point of origin for a wave, well, that's one useful way of reading a group because they're the one that often influences the group. It might be the person who laughs first, or the person that looks interested first, or the person that shifts in their seat because they need a break. So if you notice the origin as it's happening, you can encourage that wave or you can dissipate that energy. When something humorous is shared, one person would almost always begin to laugh before anyone else, and then the group starts laughing. It's like that pebble dropping in the pond and the ripples emanating from that point of origin spreading across the group. In every group, there are lots of pebbles that serves as catalysts for laughter, intrigue, break time. There are pebbles representing I'm bored. Learning how to watch for the waves and identifying the pebbles of origin constitute the art of reading a group. By reading these signs, you can anticipate what the group needs and you can be proactive. Reading the group is among the most sophisticated strategies in the 7 essential abilities. It's made up by recognizing individual pieces of data from the group, like the pebbles or the waves. It's also useful to be able to tell when people are on and off task by looking across the room and seeing if everybody's in sync or if everybody's using a credible voice or approachable voice. Practice. Watch groups in restaurants. Watch groups whenever you're teaching or presenting, or even if you're sitting in the audience, and you will begin to recognize those waves of influence so that you can become a more effective presenter.